Morning, everyone. This is Don V with Truth Be Told, and the first story of the day is a doozy. It's finally good to see some justice being served in America. Can't wait till it all comes out. At any rate, without ado, let's go ahead and move on to the red paper news. It says military convicts William Barr. On the 21st of June, the Office of Military Commissions convicted former Attorney General William Barr on charges of treason. Buttressing D.J.T's assertion that DS operatives had infiltrated nearly every crevice of his administration. Upon learning of Barr's fate, D.J.T. reportedly told his inner circle justice was served and that the DS, masquerading as Republicans, are not impervious to military justice. Real Raw News can now report that Barr was taken into custody on the 21st of May when U.S. Marines operating under the guidance of the Insurrection Act arrested the traitor at his McLean, Virginia home. He was promptly taken to Guantanamo Bay, where he lived in a 6x9 cell while awaiting his tribunal date. On Tuesday, Barr had his day in court. In an opening statement, he said he had been fiercely loyal to D.J.T. prior to his ousting. He said he had helped craft many of the indictments on which the military was now acting, and under the brief that D.J.T. was interested in draining the swamp. But in November, Barr had an epiphany. He told the tribunal that D.J.T. had instructed him to author indictments on persons who had no ties to the political arena, and that it was his opinion that D.J.T.'s indictments were designed to settle personal scores and vendettas, not to restore political integrity. D.J.T. subverted my trust in judicial authority when he showed me a list of people to be indicted. I was shocked. I asked him why this or that person was being indicted. He told me because they're criminals. Bill, when I asked for proof, he told me, "Don't worry, Bill, we'll find the proof." I refused to participate any further in his witch hunt, and that's why I tendered my resignation on the 23rd of December. Barr addressed the tribunal. His explanation didn't seem to impress Rear Admin Darce E. Crandall, who had successfully prosecuted the military's case against John Podesta. An interestingly large fictional tale of what happened. Let's be honest with each other here. Mr. Barr, you were given an opportunity to resign to save face. Not that it mattered, because, unbeknownst to you, you were already under scrutiny. If you had moral and ethical issues with the indictments back in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and November, why would you wait until December 23rd to resign? That doesn't make much sense, Rear Admin Crandall said. Barr countered that he wanted to give D.J.T. every chance to realize he had taken a precipitous turn toward the dark side and to return to the light. I tried to help him, Barr said. The truth is exactly the opposite, isn't it, Mr. Barr? D.J.T. kept you around because he keeps his friends close and his enemies closer. He gave you every opportunity to amend your mistakes. Then you stabbed him in the back by denying EF and supporting the November 3rd transition. And certainly you understand that bribery, especially for an appointed official, is akin to treason, Rear Admin Crandall said. Incontrovertible proof of Barr's criminal malfeasance. Financial documents proven that Barr's William and Christine had received $7 million donation deposited into a 501c3 titled Conservative Truth Initiative. The depositor, a Chinese national with indisputable ties to the DNC, spread the funds across several bank accounts. The deposits had hit Barr's account on the 2nd of December, one day after Barr excoriated DTT on national television. I submit to you, Rear Admin Crandall told the three-officer tribunal that Barr did knowingly collaborate with the enemy to undermine and delegitimize the dramatically elected Prez of the U.S., D.J.T., and in doing so betrayed his oath to the U.S. Constitution, simply put, treason. What I did was take action to protect the U.S. If I had to do it again, I'll do it 5 times, Barr said. 15 minutes later, the panel found Barr guilty of treason, seditious conspiracy, advocating overthrow of government, recruiting for the service against the U.S., and enlistment to serve against the U.S., and decreed that he be executed for his crimes in accordance with U.S.C. Title 18 and provisions specified in the Insurrection Act of 1807. Wow, wow, wow. Didn't see that one coming, that's for sure. Moving on. Oh, before I go, here we have it on Real Raw News, and here we have in Truth 11, and there was a couple more sites I could pull up for you, but I'm not going to. Let's go ahead and it says microchip shortages drive car prices up. Used car prices have jumped 21% since April of 2020. Now, I know that there's a huge microchip shortage. That's why I can't get myself an RTX 3060 for this computer I'm using right now. Prices for new and used cars continue to go up as microchip shortage continues to affect the industry. Used cars have been more heavily impacted, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Used car prices have jumped 21% since April of 2020 in Illinois. Used car prices have increased nearly 15% over the past year. New car prices have increased 2% during the same time period. Used vehicles saw May's largest month-over-month inflation. Yeah, thanks to JB. With prices jumping over 7% in the latest Consumer Price Index report that followed a 10% surge in April. Pete Sander, president of the Illinois Automobile Dealers Association, said despite supply issues, sales have been brisk. Sales have been fairly strong through April and May, but obviously with the chip shortage, whoa, I hate it when it does that. The inventories are getting lower, so it is starting to be a concern for the industry, of course, Sanders said. Sanders said people are getting much more money for their trade-in than a year ago. The increase in demand has surged even more for used trucks and SUVs. Some car dealers have even restored to the cold calling customers and inquiring about purchasing their used vehicles. Some car makers are now leaving out high-end features in vehicles as a result of the chip shortage, Bloomberg reported. For example, Nissan is leaving navigation systems out of thousands of vehicles that typically would include them, and Ram no longer offers its 1500 pickups with standard intelligence rearview mirror that eliminates blind spots. Illinois stands to gain with used car prices on the rise. The price of a used car in Illinois increased from $35.75 from March 2020 to March 2021. Illinois sales tax on a used car is 6.25%, adding $223 per vehicle sold to the state coffers. Sanders is hopeful the chip shortage situation will improve later this year. It's supposed to be getting better by the third quarter, he said, and when you say better, we don't know what that means. That is coming from the manufacturers. Lawmakers are now getting involved, and there is legislation in the U.S. Senate that would invest billions in domestic microchip production to help make up for the lack of overseas supplies. All right, and the third story of the day is on the Daily Caller. It says, let's turn our back on her. Furious backlash against the Olympic hammer thrower Gwen Berry for turning her back on flag during national anthem. She says, I meant what I said, period. Oh, good for you. Maybe she needs to be sent to Russia or China or some other communist country. Hammer thrower Gwen Berry sparked an angry backlash on Saturday when she turned away from the American flag while on the podium for a medical ceremony at the U.S. Olympic trials. Shame on her. Saying it was disrespectful and set up to play the national anthem. She said organizers agreed to play it before she walked out and accused them of deliberately delaying it until she walked out. She said the anthem doesn't speak for me. It never has. While the anthem played at the trials in Eugene, Oregon, Berry placed her left hand on her lip and shuffled her feet. She took a quarter turn so she was facing the stands, not the flag. Toward the end, Berry, who is an outspoken activist on racial justice issues, plucked up her black t-shirt with the words "Activist Athlete" emblazoned on the front and draped it over her head. The incident prompted an angry backlash against Berry from politicians and commentators, with some calling for her to be removed from the Olympic team and others questioning her patriotism. But Berry later defended herself, saying, "I never said I hate this country." Well, then why are you acting that way? What is wrong with people? Republican and former governor of Wisconsin, Scott Walker, tweeted in response, "Growing up, everyone stood for the American flag. Didn't matter your politics, race, sex, income, religion. Everyone stood for the flag. It was sure one of those civil rituals that brought us together. It still should today." Texas Senator Ted Cruz also looked to Twitter to react to the story, writing, "Why does the left hate America? Sure, we have our faults, but no nation in the history of the world has liberated more people from captivity, has lifted more out of poverty, has bled more for freedom, or has blessed more with abundance. God bless America." Vic DeGramont, a Republican congressional candidate in Florida, wrote on Twitter, "If you can't respect the flag or anthem, then you shouldn't be allowed to compete." I agree with that 100%. Mercy, mercy. Bullseye. Pentagon releases video of U.S. fighter jets dropping 2,000-pound missiles on pro-Iranian militia sites on Syrian border. Iraq calls for revenge, and Tehran tells Biden he's taken the wrong path. Iraq on Monday condemned overnight U.S. airstrikes against Iran-backed militia groups on the Syrian-Iraqi border that killed at least 7 fighters and sparked calls for revenge from Iraqi armed factions. Not saying that word in front of his name. JB's second strike on the administration on pro-Iran sites sparked fears of further escalation between Tehran and Washington during faltering efforts to revive Iran nuclear deal. 2 targets were attacked in Syria, with the third also bombed in Iraq. The Pentagon said multiple Iran-backed militia groups, including Katab's Hezbollah and Katab, I can't say that word, had been hit. Wow, wow, wow. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed those reports. I know the first one certainly amazed me. There's a lot of alleged news there. Gotta say alleged. Keep the censors happy. Anyway, this is Don V with Truth Be Told, broadcasting out of beautiful warm skies today. It looks like we're probably going to be in early 80s. Loving this weather. Anyway, hope everybody has a wonderful week, and we are out of here.